Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of Directors meeting of Thursday, the 21st of July, 2016. The first order of business is a round of introductions. I'm Paul Kennegar, President of the GTCA.
Ayat Soleil, Executive Assistant.
Joe Purcell, Director, Tower 1.
Soheila Kogner, Tower 2.
Justin Mack, Director at Large.
Rich Fuente, Director at Large.
Wade Wesson, Director, Tower 3.
Richard Miller, Director, Tower 1.
Frank Fittipaldi, General Manager.
The first order of business is the approval of the open minutes of the meeting of June the 16th, 2016.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Justin?
I need that. I make a motion to table the approval of the minutes for further review.
I second.
All those in favor of tabling the approval of the minutes, raise your hand. The motion is tabled. Tonight, I'm going to indulge myself, because this is a momentous day for some people, if you think about it. This is actually the one day of the year where you have something significant happen in the town of Gothenburg. 236 years ago, this is the anniversary of the attack on the Bulls Ferry blockhouse in 1780. And just indulge me for a second. I just want to read you a statement that was sent from East Hampton, Suffolk County, Long Island, on the 20th of August to Lord Germain, who was the Secretary of War in England. This was said by Sir Henry Clinton, Knight of Bath, who was the commander of the British forces here. I have the satisfaction of communicating to your lordship an instance of courage which reflects with great honor on a small body, he says refugees, that's what they call the loyalists. About 7 of them had taken part in a post on the opposite shore of the North River, which they called it then, now the Hudson, called Bull's Ferry. They fortified themselves in a blockhouse and stockade to protect them in the cutting of wood, the labor in which they were employed for their maintenance. A corps of 2,000 rebels under General Wayne with 7 pieces of cannon made an attack on them on the 21st of July. Notwithstanding a cannonade of 3 hours, almost every shot of which passed through the blockhouse. An attempt was made to carry by assault the blockhouse. They were repulsed by them as brave men, with a loss of a great many killed and wounded. Excursions of refugees did not cease after resisting such a great force. They followed the enemy, seized the stragglers, and rescued from them the cattle they had been driven from the neighboring districts. The blockhouse was pierced with 52 shots in one face, and 2 small guns that had been mounted. 6 refugees were killed and 15 wounded. The greater part in the blockhouse. I found it be with greatest respect, your lordships most obedient and humble servant, Sir Henry Clinton, Knight Commander of Bath. Just for all your information, as near as I can tell, the blockhouse was just in this room where we're sitting here, with the back of it facing against the palisades. And the artillery was in the back, about 150 feet from, 150 yards from here, up on the Appleby property. And there were 67 Americans killed in the assault, and 6 American refugees and loyalists. I just had to say that. I think it's just kind of interesting. Next order of business is the Treasurer's and Controller's report.
Take that microphone.
Hello. Sorry about that. Hello.
my name is Moshe Mai. I will be presenting the financial report this evening. I will start with the cash balances. As of June 30th, the depository account has a total balance of $444,000. The R&R account has a balance of $5.1 million. Total available cash as of June 30th is $6 million. I will now talk about accounts receivable. Total accounts receivable from homeowners as of June 30th, 2016 is approximately $3.5 million. $3.4 million of that is illegal. $33,000 is in payment plans. $26,000 is 1 month past due. $508 is 2 months past due, and the remaining $698 is over 6 days past due. I will now talk about accounts payable. Total accounts payable as of June 30th, 2016 is $754,000, which includes all invoices posted as of June plus any known accruals. Legal invoices account for approximately $113,000. R&R invoices account for approximately $84,000. I will now break down the payables. $568,000 is 0 to 30 days old. $40,000 is 30 to 60 days old. $29,000 is 61 to 90 days old. Finally, $115,000 is over 90 days old. For the month of June, $316,000 of payments were made through Condo Cafe. As of July 15, 2016, there were 633 owner occupants and 442 absentee owners. Of the 442 absentee owners units, 426 are occupied by tenants. Units occupied by tenants represent approximately 40% of total Galaxy units. The monthly financial package for June is now available. This concludes the financial report.
Are there any questions for the Controller's Office? I see no questions, so we'll move on to the General Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board and Galaxy community. It is my pleasure to provide updates on the following projects and initiatives over the last month. On the hallway decorating project. At your June meeting, 2 contracts for hallway redecorating and carpeting totaling $3.2 million were awarded by the board. While the contract documents are being finalized now by the association's council, staff has been moving ahead to work out the final details for project implementation and staging. Storage areas throughout the property were identified and prepared for the contractors to use for materials, supplies, and equipment. And value engineering to save costs on final selection of finishes has been ongoing and will continue throughout the project wherever possible. A temporary project intern was hired as an alternative to relying on our architectural firm for project administration. This will save approximately $67,000. The project intern will coordinate staging of the work, the contractor's materials deliveries, project accounting, and internal communications and notices necessary to help residents navigate around the construction areas. Final carpet selection continues to take place. The board wisely chose an alternate carpet equal to in specifications to the product originally specified by the designers in order to save $95,000 in costs. A variation of the intended design must now be selected from the alternate manufacturer, Milliken Carpet, which met the general design criteria of the black and gray color scheme. As an inducement, Milliken has agreed to customize any of their standard product lines to satisfy our design criteria. On June 20th, I visited the Milliken showroom with several board members, including Director Wade Weston, who is coordinating the effort. In the alternate design, the board has decided to incorporate elements of the Galaxy's 3 signature red, green, blue colors for the towers in the new carpeting. Therefore, 3 variations of the custom carpet will be installed throughout the Galaxy hallways as part of the project. Elevator car 6 in Tower 2 is now back in service following the tragic accident which occurred back earlier this year. We certainly apologize for the delays as major repairs to this elevator and shaft were necessary before the car could be put back in service safely. We thank the community for its patience during this lengthy repair. The restoration team has done some detail work on the sidewalk area recently and along Boulevard East. Trash can signposts and safety balustrades were power washed, repaired, painted, and then sprayed with a repellent solution to discourage pets. The restoration team also continues to paint on the 11th floor of the garage to prepare for the completion of the garage restoration or reconstruction project. The columns will be painted and labeled with a uniform numbering system to make it easier for residents and guests to navigate through the garage. Regarding the Galaxy Pet rules that I mentioned just earlier about the repellent to discourage pets in front of the property, I want to thank first the many responsible pet owners who responded to our appeal in last week's weekly update. The restoration team's detailing efforts that I just mentioned were necessary to correct the unsanitary conditions caused by pets, which are often allowed to void on the Galaxy property and sidewalks in front of the mall and on Boulevard East. The puddles of urine all over the sidewalk in front of the Galaxy Towers and mall have become a common sight, which is a very poor reflection on the property's curb appeal to the outside world. We'll continue to remind pet owners of the Galaxy Pet rules, which provide that pets must be curbed only off-site of the Galaxy property. Allowing pets to void on the plastic sidewalks and driveways is not permitted. Finally, the town of Guttenberg has a pet ordinance which also requires that dogs are curbed all the way to the street and not permitted to do their business anywhere on the sidewalks. In the weeks to come, after exhausting all friendly appeals to the residents of the Galaxy and the surrounding community, we will be working with the Gothenburg Police to ensure the ordinance is enforced. Before you, up against the wall on your left in the audience, in the audience's right, is a one-piece window screen. The Brian Pluckett, one of the directors of the board, who recently replaced all of his windows in his unit, asked us to pass along this information from Hawking Glass, which also installed custom-fitted window screens at a reasonable cost of $40 per unit. Owners who are currently using adjustable window screens are cautioned that those products are unsafe and should not be used. Adjustable window screens can dislodge easily and fall to injure someone below. So owners wishing to use window screens are encouraged to contact Hawking Glass or other vendors of their choice if they wish to use screens in their windows. But in any event, window screens must only be a one-piece unit and installed only on the inside of the window frames, not on the outside or inside the window jambs. Finally, I'd like to speak to you about your toilets once again. As of July 20th, approximately 1/3 of all Galaxy homeowners have taken advantage of the promotional discount to replace unsafe toilet supply lines with the now required all-metal braided lines. The deadline for compliance is August 30th. This important initiative was required as a result of the many incidents where broken supply lines caused extensive damage to common areas and private residences. The latest example was a water damage caused to the Tower 1 lobby this week, where the elevator computerized control panel was also damaged. This special promotion, which will expire at the end of this month, affords homeowners the ability to have these lines replaced by our maintenance department at a nominal cost of $20 each. Homeowners are encouraged to take advantage of this offer and also to consult with maintenance to have their shut-off valves all inspected and also replaced at the same time if necessary. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the general manager? There appear to be no questions. There was no unfinished business. New business. The first item is the appointment of new members to the Social and Cultural Committee. Justin?
I make a motion to appoint Miriam Cortazzo and Arlene Barnett to the Social and Cultural Committee.
Is there any discussion? There appears to be no discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those, it's unanimous. The next is an amendment to Administrative Resolution number 2. There are several different kinds of resolutions, administrative resolutions. and policy resolutions. Both resolutions require that 7 days before a board meeting, that the board be given the resolutions so we can discuss them among themselves. The difference with policy resolution, there's 2 readings to allow homeowners to comment on it. So for the policy resolution, this will be the first reading. The next order of business, the amendment of Administrative Resolution Number 2, Common Expense Assessments.
I make a motion to amend Administrative Resolution Number 2, Common Expense Assessments to read, no tenant, resident, or guest of a unit owner may be eligible to use any of the association's amenities if such tenant, resident, or guest was previously a unit owner within Galaxy Towers and continues to owe a balance to the association for outstanding maintenance fees or other charges which occurred during such prior ownership.
Motion is seconded. You wish to make comments, Justin?
Well, I believe that this amendment to the resolution would solve a loophole that we actually have in that resolution.
Any other discussion? Read.
Oh, I just wanted to briefly speak about the intent of it was that when a unit owner or owes balances to the association and then becomes a tenant in another unit, that they would then be able to use the amenities or take advantage of the association's amenities or facilities based on the fact that they still owe the associated money from the previous ownership of the unit.
I also think that would protect the homeowners from the tenants, that if people, they haven't paid their maintenance and left it for the other homeowners to pay that, I'm not sure if they're really going to be a good tenant and they're going to pay their rent. So that also would protect the homeowners from such a kind of tenants.
Any other comments? I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. It's passed unanimously. The next is an amendment to policy resolution number 10 to allow barbecuing on the South Lawn. This is the first reading of it.
I make a motion to amend policy resolution number 10 to allow for barbecuing on the spa South Lawn. Proposed barbecue rules will be the spa manager, supervisor, is in charge of the barbecue area and his or her directions must be followed. Children under 12 years of age must be accompanied and supervised by a person of at least 18 years of age. Pets are prohibited in the barbecue area with exception to service dogs. Only Galaxy residents who are in good standings and registered guests may use the barbecues. All applicable guest fees will be signed for by the resident and charged to the resident's apartment. Residents are limited to 4 guests and must remain with their guests at all times. Barbecues are by reservation only. In order to reserve a barbecue, reservation must be made through the spa receptionist in person or by calling 201-453-2405 no more than 7 days in advance. No unit may hold more than 1 reservation at any given time. When finished, the resident that reserved the barbecue is responsible for the cleaning of the grill, depositing all unused charcoals and ashes in the metal garbage cans. All garbage must be cleaned up and put in proper receptacles. Residents are subject to loss of barbecue privileges if any of the barbecue rules are broken. And the proposed change to rule number 11 under the pool rules, food and alcohol beverages are permitted except for being transported in sealed containers to and from the barbecue area.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is seconded. Before we discuss it, we'll publish these rules tomorrow in the update so everybody can see them. You don't have to write them down now. Justin, would you like to comment?
Yes, I'd like to comment. It seems as though we used to have barbecues on the property, and I've talked to a lot of homeowners in the last 4 years since I'm living here, and there's an I have overwhelming support from the homeowners saying that they would like to barbecue somewhere. I understand that this needs to be hashed out, and I'd like to hear the homeowners' responses to this. This is up, obviously, for discussion throughout the community, and that's what the purpose of this is for the community to please, if you have any questions or comments, please direct it towards this. That's exactly what this is for.
Yeah, I just wanted to voice a couple of concerns about that. One being allowing alcohol, for instance, down there. The other about the location. There's been several comments about that. And it's relatively close to people's apartments who occupy units on this, close to the south lawn. And the smoke would travel up and into units, not only on the first floor, but above that. So, you know, while we're concerned about everyone, this is directly affecting people who own units on that floor and in that area. So I hope that everyone can take that into consideration. I'm certainly not against having an area for barbecue, and I think that that could be enjoyed by the community. I just don't know that that's the best location for that activity.
Richard?
Just one point I want to take care of right now. The old barbecue area was completely off the property. From what I remember, it's at the other end of what is currently the Appleview property, so that's number one. Number two, some points I was going to make similar to Wade's, but I also want to bring them out. People who bought apartments overlooking that site bought with the expectation that that area would be empty. That's number one. Number two, I looked at it yesterday, and it's a very small area. There'll be noise, there'll be smoke, and I just think people there are entitled to quiet enjoyment of the space.
I like the idea of having the barbecue. I'm not against it, but South Lawn, I have got some reservation regarding that location. I prefer if we come up, if we have the barbecue next to Tower 3 in that area, we clean it up. Yes. No, yes. And clean it up and have a barbecue there. Also, I think having it in South Lawn, there's a lot of, we don't have enough manpower in the spot to control who's coming, who's going. And serving alcohol in that area, something that I'm concerned about.
Just thinking about the whole situation, maybe the north lawn would be better. We could make some improvements down there. Everybody who would go down to the barbecue would have to go to Tower 3 desk and reserve an elevator to go down to the S level so they can go out to the area without transporting food and whatever beverages they may have across the pool. And if they're not in good standings, they won't be able to get the elevator or make the reservation for the barbecue. We could also do improvements with some of the bushes and trees around there, clean up the whole area, make it a little bit better than what it is now. And I think that may be a good thing, because a barbecue would be a great thing.
Richard?
The other objection I have to it, I just thought of people will be carrying food, beverages, whatever, condiments through the building. There's the danger of it spilling, dirtying new carpet. Whenever we get that, I just do not think it's a good idea.
Are there any other comments? Remember, this is reviewing. If you have your comments, send them to the office in writing, and we will have a month to discuss them. I'm going to close down this discussion now and call for a vote. All those in favor of the first reading of this amendment?
Can I make a motion to table it?
Yes, you can make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to table it until we have further discussion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I say.
Okay. All those in favor of tabling this motion, raise your hand. 3. All those opposed? 4. The motion is not tabled. Now we'll take the vote. All those in favor of this first reading, raise your hand and signify by yes. All those opposed? The motion is carried. We will publish this and ask for public comment. Is there any other business? There appears to be no other business. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor of adjourning? Thank you all.